Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, I'll be on Truth Frequency Radio, just like every Wednesday night. The show always begins at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. 3-hour program, 6 to 9 on the West Coast, 9 to midnight on the East Coast. If you're in a different time zone, you know where to check. For tomorrow night's show, I'm going to have guest Dan Barrett on. Dan Barrett, if you're not familiar with Dan Barrett, he is the second person to learn from me and start producing YouTube videos. The first person quit a long time ago. Dan's never quit. His work's always been brilliant, and his work's so brilliant that YouTube has capped his channel at 2,000 subscribers for over 2 years now. And I realize this is something YouTube does. Out of all the new YouTube channels I've made since my channel was deleted this past June, I'm now on my 9th channel, they haven't let any of the channels have more than 2,000 subscribers. And Danny's been doing brilliant work for all this time. His subscribers have never risen above 2,000. It's impossible. So anyway, he's going to be on the show tomorrow night. For any of you who haven't heard of Dan before, I'm going to link his channel below. He's going to be on and share his story. Him and I have never talked in person before, so I'm looking forward to talking to him. He's going to be on to start the show. I'm also possibly going to have on tomorrow night this man right here, Jerry. If you guys have seen his channel, newer channel, speaking out, doing really good work. He's trying to start a campaign to get people to organize in their communities so that we can start exposing these false flags in real time. The same thing I've been trying to do. He told me he found my work years ago when I exposed the Kalamazoo shooting, the Uber driver shooting. Do you remember that one? February 2016, if I remember correctly. This man lived in Kalamazoo when it happened, and he began exposing within his community. And for doing that, you know what happened to him? He got his home broken into, sabotaged, destroyed, all of his valuables stolen. In this video, he tells the story of how the people who destroyed his house even ripped up a picture of someone he loves and lost. And I have the same story. You know, I exposed the false flag shooting at the high school near my house, and then just days later, my home broken into, everything stolen and destroyed. You know, this is what's going on in the world. So anyhow, I'm going to get this guy on my show. It might be tomorrow night. Might have to wait another week. I don't know. But I'm going to link his channel down below. I want people to support this guy. Only 1.2K subscribers. That's not enough. I'm sure he's being censored as well. But anyway, all the voices of reason. I'm going to start trying to get him on the radio program. I think Jerry's a little bit greener to the truth community than some people, but it doesn't matter. You know, he sees enough. He's got the right idea. He wants to organize and make things happen. What else is inspiring about this man is he's in a wheelchair, I believe. He's lost both of his legs. So, you know, he's the man here, Jerry. So I'm hoping to have him on as well tomorrow night. Dan is definitely going to be on. He's going to be on to start the show. And be sure to tune in at the beginning of the show. Last week, somebody called and asked about the history of conspiracy theory. I did the research, figured out how the person was that coined the term conspiracy theory. They were murdered by the code for coining that term. And we'll get to it all and more at the beginning of the show. It's really interesting. The man who coined the term conspiracy theory to stereotype people who were seeking truth. And for his efforts, he was murdered by the code on a date that had everything to do with the numerology of conspiracy theory. You work for this gang, you serve this gang, they will murder you by the code. At the same time, you expose this gang, and they will mess with you too. Dan Barron also gets messed with for doing the work. So anyhow, I'm going to link both their channels. Be sure to sub their channels. Don't expect their subscribers to go up, but they need more people listening. And tomorrow night, we'll also talk about the Rigged World Series. Completely scripted. There was even a ritual murder for the first game of the World Series. This is clockwork. Whenever a big sports championship comes, there's always a ritual murder. Today, it's the star of Benson, Robert Guam. And check it out. Dead at 89, Los Angeles Dodgers 89. Dead 37 days from his birthday, Los Angeles 37. And a million other things. We'll talk about it all tomorrow night. Radio show 6 to 9 West Coast, 9 to 12 East Coast. You know, LA in gematria equals 13. They said that the game temperature at the start of the game was 103 degrees. 1, lose the 0, 3. 13 strikeouts. The final pitch was the 13th pitch from the reliever. Final at bat made the hitter 1 for 3 on the game. Couldn't be any more scripted. You got Scott Van Pelt after the game talking about the perfect script. By the way, this actor who died, named gematria of 91, the 13th triangular number. You had 1 through 13 together, 91. Ritual murders to go with the scripted games. 179 is the 41st prime number. 41 is the 13th prime number. LA equals 13. Flip the alphabetic order around. LA is also 41, the 13th prime. You know, you just saw the new LA Chargers get their first win at home, becoming 1-3, like 13. Across the board, pro sports scripted. This man who died today, dead with 68 days left in the year. His birth name in gematria is 68. Caskets go 6 feet deep, 8 feet long. Anniversary of the death of Jackie Robinson, number 42. WS for World Series, 23 for WS19, 23 plus 19, 42. Remember, Jackie equals 42 in reduction. Just like Brothers, just like Martin, just like Malcolm X, just like February, just like nigger, just like slavery. This is the code. You got to know the code to see what's going on in the world. 89. 89 is the 11th Fibonacci number, God's mathematical spiral. Clayton Kershaw with 11 Ks. K's the 11th letter. It's all scripted. We'll talk about it all and more tomorrow night. You know where to be. Dan will definitely be on the show, hoping to get Jerry there. But definitely subscribe to these men's channels. Gonna link them below. You want to call into the show, 213-233-3998. I'll be taking your phone calls after Dan gets off the program. He's going to be on the phone line for however long he's on. He doesn't know how to use Skype. He's never used Skype before, so he'll be taking up the phone line. But once Dan gets off, I'll be taking your phone calls. So you want to save your cell phone minutes, call in after Dan gets off. Dan's the guest to start the show. Dan's brilliant. He's the student. You know, both the two first guys who started making videos when they learned from me, they both helped me advance the work. The first guy who came along said, hey, Zach, you know what you need to start doing? You need to start writing out the words or the numbers as words and decoding those. He goes, I'm telling you, there's something there. And boy, was he ever right. And then Dan came along, and Dan noticed that if you wrote out the actual date and decoded it, there were all these synchronicities. And these things were blowing my mind when I first started. I was like, wow, even the words and the numbers and the date. But then the more I learned about it, the more sense it made. So, you know, Dan Barron, and the other guy's name is Josh. Hey, Josh, if you're out there somewhere, man, I wish you would come back. Josh was down in Phoenix. Josh, the first guy to come along, I mean, he was so excited about this when he came along. I don't even know what happened to him. He started printing out flyers right away for gematria and passing them out all over. You know, I thought he was going to wake the whole world up to gematria, and then just one day Josh disappeared. So I hope Josh is out there and he's okay, but, you know, Dan's been doing it a long time. He never gave up. He's never disappeared. He's going to be on tomorrow night. And hopefully Jerry, too. All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.